Tom Nichols with Meet the Candidate, visiting with Tommy Capagna, candidate for the POA board. You've been a lot owner here for some time, haven't you?
Bought my first lot in 2000. Found out later that it wasn't the lot I needed to build the house I was on, so I bought a second and sold the first.
Mm-hmm.
Been very pleased that I've done that. Love it here. Been here since 2009. Rented a house while mine was being built. So I've lived in my house for pretty soon it'll be 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
Best decision I've made. Never looked back.
Briefly, your business background.
Well, I spent most of my time in the computer industry, in sales.
Mm-hmm.
I managed the largest sales district in the digital equipment, which was in Chicago, Illinois, where we had 100 sales reps. I had 2 levels of managers below me, 2 retail stores, and a total organization size of probably 200 to 300 people with an annual budget of $250 million in sales revenues.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, actually, I worked for GE Capital and was a vice president of sales for one of their divisions that leased computers, primarily, although they would lease other things. Had my own leasing company for a short period of time, mm-hmm. and worked for Perot Systems for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. What motivated you to run for this position on the board?
You know, for a long time I thought about that and told my wife I ought to run for the board. She says, why would you want to do that? And she probably made a lot of sense. But the fact of the matter is that I continued to see things in this village deteriorate. It was time to put aside some of my personal desires about playing more golf or shooting more pool or whatever I might do with my free time and get involved and try to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. You'd like to see the 2019 budget revised, right?
Well, I went through the 2019 budget, and it doesn't hold water. It was based upon the budget from 2018, and it should have been based upon what we expected our actual results to be. So the budget's totally flawed.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not revised, it has to be reviewed at least on a 30-day basis and adjustments being made as to what the actuals are coming in against that budget.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're going to have financial trouble and we're going to eat up our reserve,
mm-hmm.
which isn't that great to start with.
Mm-hmm. What changes would you like as far as how the village is advertised?
Well, our marketing seems to be a little bit disjointed. In most organizations I've ever been involved with, there was a marketing organization that was responsible for all of the marketing. Now, there may have been divisions within that marketing mm-hmm. organization that worried about, say, golf or pickleball or mm-hmm. lot sales. Here it seems that we've got them all dispersed with not funneling up to one individual other than our CEO/general manager. So that's the changes that need to be made in the marketing organization. But we need to target different. Mm-hmm. We need to look at places where we know retirees are coming out of or people are getting tired of the cost of living, like California. Mm-hmm. But we know we have a lot of people here from the north, from Illinois. We've got ones from Texas. We need to pick about 6 or 7 states that are excellent opportunity for people to come here and advertise in those states. Mm-hmm. We need to do it a variety of ways, through newspaper, through radio. Mm-hmm. We need to take advantage of when there's a problem in areas where people want to move away from, like Florida when there's hurricanes. Mm-hmm. Let's do a little advertising down there. Mm-hmm. When they're listening to the radio, that's a good time to get their attention.
It's a great time because in many cases radio is the only thing they can get.
Yes.
During an emergency like that. So you continue to see the village as a retirement community. It was established as that.
It was established as a retirement community, but we need to start bringing in what I'm going to call younger people. That's people that are 60 years old.
Okay.
Because when I moved here, I was just a few years older than 60, and the fact of the matter is the population's aging. That means they aren't going to be taking as big advantage of the amenities we have. Mm-hmm. And so we need to bring in a younger crowd, and I would say the late 50s, 60s, the ones that are about to retire or soon to retire. Mm-hmm. Now, if young kids, and I'll call that 30-year-olds, mm-hmm. want to move here, God bless them. We ought to welcome them with open arms, but that shouldn't be our target.
We have a lot of talent within the village. I mean, major talent. Do you feel like it's being tapped into now?
Well, direct answer to your questions, it's absolutely not. There are so many smart people around marketing. There's people around in real estate that are very intellectual and understand that market well. There's people that know finance inside and out. I'd like to think I know finance fairly well, but the fact of the matter is there's people that are really experts at this. Mm-hmm. We need a finance committee. It needs to be made up of those kinds of experts that can provide guidance to the board and guidance to the POA. Doesn't mean that they make the rules, but they should provide guidance and we should listen to them. Marketing even more so. There's so many great people in marketing. I reviewed multiple marketing plans from people, and every one of them has solid points in it. A marketing committee could help us really direct and target the things that we need to be doing to grow this village and bring in new residents.
We have about 20 seconds left. Would you support revising the comprehensive master plan that's out there?
It has to be revised. Now, there's parts of it you can't throw away, the parts that revolve around infrastructure and some other areas that might be okay, and that's decommissioning lots. But the fact of the matter is it needs to be totally redone and get away from all the things in there that's caused it so much consternation in the village.
You've been listening to Meet the Candidate. Our guest, Tormey Campagna. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Tom.